So I'm going to walk you through Premiere a little bit so that you can begin to work with it and understand it some. It's a little more complicated than Movie Maker and iMovie. So I assume that you have Premiere loaded, or else you wouldn't be watching this. We're going to open Adobe Premiere, and of course it takes a second because it has quite a few little things in it. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to New Project, and this is CS6. CC looks a little bit different, but there's a New Project button, and you're going to click on it. And then you're going to define where you're going to do it. So I'm going to browse, and all of my footage is where? Let's see here. There we go, Dropbox. So I'm going to go to, well, I'm not going to save it there, but I'm going to just pick a folder here to put this outside of Dropbox here. Hang on a second. I'll put it in here. I'm just going to pick a folder to create it. You might have already moved all of your footage onto your desktop. Well, then you have a folder right there that you've already created for the footage. Save your project into there. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to tell it OK. So now I have a project. I just left it untitled. But what you're going to do, since we're working in HD footage, there's all these little different formats that you can use with presets. Well, I would like for you to use what's called XDCAM HD. So you open that expansion arrow, then come to 1080p for progressive, which y'all aren't quite there yet. Actually, that's in your reading this week, isn't it? That's right. So you should know what I mean by progressive and interlaced. All right. So, and I'm going to select XDCAM HD 1080p 30, meaning 30 frames per second. So I tell it OK. So this is my window. This in essence is my preview window. This is my program window. This is my project window. This is my sequence window. Here is where I'm going to be able to preview what I'm doing and select in and out points. Here shows me what is on the timeline and how it flows. Here is where all my activity is, all my clips, all my different types of effects. I work then in this window to deviate my effects. Here is my audio mixer, so on. So it is a little bit more of a complicated program, but it's actually one of the best programs out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go File, Import, and then I'm going to go to Dropbox and bring in all that footage. And it was under Student folder 43. Okay, actually yours was called, I believe I have it named right here. Yep. Week 5 resources. All right. So I have this folder and this music. So I'm going to click on them, and I'm just going to go open. And then I'm going to highlight all of these clips and go open. So it's going to bring in all this footage for me. Okay. I was holding on a second here. Off air as all these clips begin to come in. So I have all this footage here. Boom, boom, boom. So just make it real simple. Wait, I didn't bring in my music. Let me re-import the music. I thought I had it. So let me back up to this folder and click on the music and then bring in that music. By the way, if you noticed, I actually right-clicked within my window and did an import. So you can either do it through File or you can do it through the actual project box. So the first thing I'm going to do is here's my music. Whoops, give it a second. Okay, so I'm going to click on my music. There it is. And so there's my music. So it plays. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the very end of my music and see how it actually shows me the waveform of the music. Then I'm going to mark it out. Now you can do it two ways. These two little buttons here, see, anytime you move your mouse onto something and you pause, it tells you what it is. Right here, there's razor tool. We're not going into a lot of this. This can get pretty complicated. So we're going to keep it simple. So I'm going to mark an out point. So I can either click on this with my mouse, or I can actually just go to a keyboard shortcut for O, and it'll mark out. Now what I want this clip to be is 2 minutes long. So the easiest way to do that is to set my music at 2 minutes. So I'm just going to click on here. Here's your time value of where you are in this particular timeline of this window. So I'm going to click on it and see how it highlights the numbers. Well, I'm going to put in -2 minutes and hit enter, and it backs it up precisely 2 minutes for me. So once I've got that, I got the exact 2 minutes I need for what I'm working on, and at this point I can take it straight into the timeline. So there's two ways I can do it. I can click on drag audio only, which it is on only audio, or I can come in here and whoops, it's not working for me today. Alright, so I'm just going to grab audio only, and I'm going to bring it into my timeline. And I'm going to drop it in audio channel 2, because 1 I'm going to use for natural sounds of the clip. So there, and there it is. Now that's a little loud, so the best way to do this is then come back over to your preview window, click on audio mixer right there, and then it opens up controls of your audio channels. So on audio channel 2 right here, I'm going to bring it down to about -12 and then hit play. Now look at the difference right there at the output. Well, I want it a little lower than that, so I'm going to bring it more to -24 and see how much quieter it got. So here's my music the way I want it. So then I'm going to come up and just keep this simple. Double click on your actual project window. Now it might show more like this. If it does, then change your view so that you can clearly see what you're looking at. So if it's a list view, change it to an icon view, and then this way it'll show you the clip beforehand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through this clip. All I'm doing is holding down the mouse as I'm on top of this little scroll bar. So I scroll through and I find the exact moment I want it to start. So this I want as my start point. So I'm going to make it an end point. Then I'm going to move through and take it right at the back of the smile. So this is my out point. So I just click out. So at this point, I can either do it this way. I can drag audio, video only. I can drag audio only, which I want both. So I'm just going to put my mouse on the screen, hold it down, and drag, and see how it turned it into a little grip hand, and take it right to the timeline. So now I have, okay, now I know that's a little loud, so I want to balance my audio a little bit. So remember how we're in audio and we reset channel 2 lower. Well, I'm going to reset channel 1 at about -15. So it's a little louder than my music. And then it goes. All right, that's even a little lower than I want. So I'm going to bring up the music a hair, so it's a better mix. There we go. All right, so then just go to your next clip. Find a place you want to begin. All right, we want to begin right there. So we mark that in. We then drag it right here, and we want to be out right there. So then I can just grab it, drag it into the timeline, put it in place, and now I have 2 clips within my timeline. See how I'm removing all the footage I don't want and adding new footage. So I'm going to do this where she moves. So that's my endpoint. And come out right there. Let's make it a little longer than that. We'll come out on Blondie there. Okay. Drop it in, and then boom. Yeah, she was excited about me having that camera in her face, wasn't she? And then I want to find this scene. So this is a kickoff scene. So what I want to do is get it right at the end of the whoosh. So that's my out. And bring it back and start it where it's stable, about right there. And then it goes like this. Then I hit play. Okay, now see, that was an awkward scene because I went from the same people to them in a different shot. So what you can easily do is you can highlight what you move. Just hold down your mouse, drag till you highlight it, scoot it over. See how simple that is? Come back to the out point of the last clip, and the way you do this is you got your mouse, you push down. That's what is that? That's right on your mouse, or not right? That's left. Left, and then move it, and at the same time hit shift, and it's like as soon as it gets to a point where it knows it should stop, now I hit shift, boom, I'm there. Go to a different clip, and I'm going to use the helmet shot. So I'm going to bring it here, come there, out, come here. All right, there we go, in, out, about 3 seconds long. See how it tells me how long that clip is? Let's go a little bit longer. Let's make it nearly 5. So I drop it in, and now I can put the girls back in just by just grabbing a hold of it and scooting it over. So we're in that clip, into the kickoff, and then since I already showed the guys, then I want to switch over to cheerleaders for a bit. And I want to make sure I have the whole audio of this clip. So I'm going to go. So I want to start right at beat them. Now you can adjust real finely by doing step backs. So you can click, 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 click. There's the beginning of it. Hit play. Beat them red, beat them blue, beat them, beat them, beat them. Okay. So we're beating them, or blue is anyway, and red. So now it'll go like this. Now you just do this until you fill it all. You got lots of clips to choose from. And now let me show you what I'd like you to do next. So the next thing I want you to do is add a title. And it's real simple to do. Now I need to explain what I'm doing here. What I've done is I want to see more detail in my timeline. So you see the bar that allows you to move through your timeline. Well, if you will go to the end of it right there, see the little part that's different color than the main body, go to it, hold down your mouse, left click, and then start moving towards the front of your timeline. It suddenly expands your timeline. If you move away from the front, it decreases your timeline. So you see less detail. Now you see more, now you see less. So I want to see a little more detail so I can do some more fine tuning in my editing. So I want to add a title. So it's real easy to do. You come up here and you press, are you ready? File, of course. New, come over, whoops. Oh, my mouse is screwy. Okay, there we go. Come over and go to title. And it's going to say, okay, you want to create a title. And I'm going to call it opening, oops, fat fingers, title. Just like that. Oh, I swear, sometimes I don't know if I can type or not. Title. There we go. So then I say, okay, so it opens a little dialog box for me. There's the clip. It's right at the point where my timeline is, where my timeline cursor or scroll bar is. So I say, okay, we're going to call this Monterey Sideline Spirit. So I can either do a vertical or I can do a standard horizontal on the tool. So I'm going to do a horizontal. So I'm just going to click on it. It doesn't matter where I put it. I'm going to type title. Oh, I'm sorry. Monterey. Kind of small, a little hard to see. Sideline Spirit. Okay, now, right now, I can highlight it, come over here and increase my font value. So there we go. And of course, when you can't see what you're doing, you do actually hit things wrong. All right, so then I want it centered. So just like in any word processing program, I'm going to center it. Then I'm going to click on the selection tool, and I'm going to grab the edge of it and scoot it into place. All right. So I don't like the font, so I can easily change the font just by going to Font Family and clicking on it. And then, of course, the nice thing about Premiere is it actually gives you a preview of what the font looks like. So I want something a little more modern because I'm dealing with kids here, and kids are into the real thin stuff with, I don't know why, with a particular look. And so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to change the color so it'll pop out from the rest of it. So all I have to do is, here's the color, click on it, and I'm going to make it yellow. So I'm just going to make it as yellow as I can be. Now, Premiere is a professional program. So what it's going to do is, if you get into a color that's out of the TV's range, it's going to warn you. And that's what it's doing right there. See the little warning sign? It says, make this color broadcast safe. I said, okay, let's do that. So all I have to do is click on the box that it's giving me here as an alternative. See how it backed off the saturation where I had it way down there? It backs it off so that it's more TV friendly. So I click OK, so it's yellow, so it pops a little better. Well, I want to pop it even more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an outer stroke, or outer stroke is what I've always called it. So I think it's called something different in PowerPoint. I can't remember now. But I'm going to click Add and see how it added my outer stroke of black. And I want it to pop a little more, so it's set up as an edge. Here's depth, which actually gives it more of an extrusion. I'm going to increase the size of it, not too much, like that. I'm going to adjust my angle, so I can totally move it to wherever I want. I want it to be more where the sun is casting the shadow from about where the girl's head is, here to the right. So now it's more like here. So I'm going, okay, I like that, but maybe I want to go back to an edge. I think so. I want to go back to an edge, and then what I want to do, rather than do the extrusion, is I want to add a shadow. So right below the strokes is a shadow. So you click on it and see how it added a soft shadow. And then I can increase the distance of the shadow just by going like that. I can increase the spread, means the softness of it. So I can increase the spread. Let's just put the spread on 50. And the distance at about, what is that, 23? Okay, so that'll pop. So when I finally get what I like, I just come over here and I close it. See the little close? And you're going, oh, where'd it go? Well, it's right here in your project window. Thing is, you then have to grab it and drop it over on top of the video that you want. And now it's a part of my thing. So let's talk about transitions. So the way you get to transitions is right here in your project window. It's a little button called Effects. So you click Effects, then you come over here and you have Video Transitions. So I'm going, Video Transitions right there. So I want to use a dissolve to start with. So I'm going to add a dissolve to the front of my title and to the front of my video, so that when I back it up, it goes like this. Alright, then I'm going to add a dissolve to the end of my video, or not video, but to the title, so that when it's done, it fades away. And then I can start adding effects to this. Let's do a zoom. Here's a cross zoom. So between the first two clips, I want to add a cross zoom. So all I do is move it over. I grabbed it, hold it, drug it to the timeline, move it over into the timeline. I can move it wherever I want. Once it gets to a point where it'll work, it highlights for you. So I can either have the effect happen at the beginning of the other video, at our clip, at the end of this clip, or dead center between the two. So we're going to press dead center. So when we hit play, we have a cross zoom. Say I want to do a slide of some kind. Well, I'm going to do a swirl. Now let's do a swap. I like swaps. So I grab swap, do the same thing, drop it in there, put it in between the two clips, so that when I get to the next series of clips, it does this. All right. because I haven't rendered. It's a little slow. Let me let it. So just like that. And just start doing that till you feel it. Just try to do about 2 minutes of editing, pull in the clips, whatever it takes. Now, with Premiere, it's going to ask that you do what's known as a render. See above here where the line is red? Well, it wants you to render that so it can more easily define what's going on. So all you have to do is go up here to Sequence, hit Render Work Area. It's going to go through the process of rendering everything. And this is just building all of the effects and stuff so that they're a part of the program, and will play back smoother. Y'all are getting tired of hearing me, aren't you? Well, I'm almost done. Let me tell you how to export. But let's let it render. Like I said, Premiere is a pretty complicated program, but it's well worth your time. This is my main edit software. I do a little bit on Mac with Final Cut. I do a little bit with a program called Avid. I'm playing around with another program called Sony Vega, but this is really my favorite thing. So now when I hit play, it'll just play smoothly. All transitions happen like they're supposed to. Video plays back the way it's supposed to, so that I can see what my final project's going to look like. Now, when you've built it all, here's what you want to do. You want to export this. It's a little more complicated than the other programs are, so you're going to go up here to File. You're going to go to Export, and then you're going to click Media. Once you do this, it's going to bring up your dialog box for exporting. So we're putting this on YouTube, so we want our settings to be this. So watch my mouse here. I'm going to go to Format, do the expansion arrow, and I'm going to click on H.264. That's an MPEG 4. So it'll switch me over. All right. So once I've got that, I'm good. Now I'm going to look at my presets. Well, you got tons and tons of presets. Well, this is going to YouTube, so believe it or not, they have YouTube presets. Now, the standard preset for HD on YouTube is this guy right here, YouTube HD 720p. That's what you want, and you want the 29.97, which is actually 30 frames per second. Y'all don't need to know all this. This is technical stuff that television people use. I doubt if y'all ever need to know this, but click on that, and then that's going to get you your settings. But you are going to eventually go to YouTube, but they have an explanation of what your settings are for what you want to do when you export, so you can upload properly. So we're going to change the output name. When I click on it, it will open up a dialog box, and it'll say where you want to save it. Well, let's put it on desktop. We're going to call it Ray Rush Editing Assignment 1. And that's what you're going to name it to. Your name, Editing Assignment 1. Hit save. Then all you have to do at this point is hit export. And it's going to kick it onto the desktop for you. Now, when it's done, you need to upload it to our YouTube channel so that I can see it and other people can see it, and I can give you a grade. So hopefully this helps you with Premiere. Like I said, it's kind of complicated. So if you have questions, please do not be afraid to call me, because it is a complicated program. I am an Adobe certified expert in this program, so I can help you. But it's well worth your time to learn, especially if you want to start doing more editing. All right, talk to you later.